Hey everybody, welcome back to the Tattoos with Intention podcast. I'm your host, Mark Nara. And today we have a return guest. Her name is Sanya Youali. Been friends with her for a long time, even though I've had only small interactions in the past. She was a guest on episode 3, so if you haven't caught that episode, definitely worth having a listen. We don't cover much old ground from that one in this new interview. It's pretty good. I feel like we cover a lot of extremely relevant topics for the tattoo industry right now, especially the intentional space. She's a bit of a veteran for intentional tattooing. She's been working, hand poking, revitalizing the traditional tattoo culture in Mexico. So yeah, worth a listen. If you have something that you want to say and share within the Facebook community group, please go and join there. It's a small group, but already some really beautiful conversations are happening. And yeah, I hope you enjoy the chat. So you've been in Mexico for 20 years now, hey?
Will be in a couple of months, 22 years.
Oh, wow. That's amazing. Very good. The time's been going very quickly. I was having a listen to our last chat this morning. 2018. The time just flies by so quickly. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
it is already years.
Yeah.
Wow.
Feels like a time warp, hey. So much has happened in that time. So you're in a new studio now, a new home, is that right? You moved to Playa del Carmen.
I'm in Caribbean, in the jungle. Again, I cannot live in the city, so
Yeah.
I'm in the jungle, a little bit of change. I still have the house in Palenque, so I'm in between Palenque and here, but mostly I'm here. I've been in Hawaii for a while.
Oh, nice. Cool. What were you over there working, visiting?
Both.
Yeah. Yeah, nice. Did you go see Keone and his group there?
Keone, he's in Thailand. He's
Oh, right.
not in Hawaii, and I was in Maui.
Okay.
I
Nice.
want to go to see him, but then I figure out that he's in Thailand. He's living in Thailand now.
Yeah, I didn't realize either. There you go. Shows how much is changing. How come you moved to Playa del Carmen?
I want a little bit of the change. I've been in Palenque for 20 years, and I love Palenque, but I feel a little bit like stagnant. I have a lot of friends here in Caribbean, in Playa del Carmen, so I was like, have opportunity to come here in the jungle because it's not the city and be close to the things that are going on. I say maybe it's a time like to make a little bit of the move.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's good to also sometimes to air the energy, because when you're so long in some place, I've been like an hermit. I didn't have opportunity to see my studio because after you left, I moved to another house and I did private studio, but even more in the jungle. So I've been practically there all the time. So I felt that it's also important to have a little bit of the social life. So
Oh,
this
totally.
was one of the reasons that come here.
Okay.
But it didn't change much because I'm in the jungle and I don't go out much.
You went to a different island and then you just found another corner and you set up there. No, good.
Yeah.
It's a good move. Good move. Nice. Yeah, I do understand that, the stagnation thing, but, you know, because I see it in so many different areas of life, if there isn't movement there, it stagnates. But at the same time, in terms of my living environment, I don't understand it because even if I try to stay in one spot, I just get moved all the time. So I think I might have moved since last time we spoke, because like I said, I listened to the interview and Piot was visiting me last time we spoke. So that means I was living in Tasmania. And so since then, I think I've moved maybe 6 times.
Wow.
I know.
Wow. We're in Australia now.
Yes, I'm still in Australia, but I'm not in Tasmania, which is the little island at the bottom. I'm on the mainland. and I'm about halfway up the coast, and then I'm inland about 5 hours. So it's really dry bush, and there's a lot of big farms around. We're like really far out. People have to travel a long way to get here, which is nice. You understand that, the traveling side. But I think for the first time, my clients are getting to experience a similar thing to what happens when people come and visit you in the jungle, where they get somewhere completely different. There's no like city, and they just get it's like everything drops away. Everything drops away and they land here and they go, wow, I've had the best sleep I've had in, I don't know how long. Oh, I can't get reception. So they're not distracted. And then you get to do the tattoo. So it's really nice. We're in a good spot out here.
So it's a whole process, whole package. So the people can also focus more in their offering.
Exactly. They have no choice. It's like they, even without knowing it, they get here and then there's nothing else that they can focus on. So you've trapped them almost. They're like, oh, I have to look at why I'm here. Okay. So it's great. It's a good thing. It's a really good thing. So the other thing I wanted to talk to you about was when you got to Mexico and you decided, hey, this is where I'm going to be. This place feels like home and I'm going to start tattooing. And you realized that, hey, there is no tattooing here. I've got to revive this ancient tattooing technique in Mexico. You said there wasn't many people doing it, right?
Oh, yeah. If like 20 years ago, anyway, in the tattoo movement was not even a lot of the women's tattooing.
Yeah, that's right.
And also not only the women's, I try to find somebody who tattoo by hand like Oni or somebody like doing it ancient way. And I went to Mexico City to find the fathers of the movement. And honestly, everywhere I get the same answer, that there is nobody that it's that way and that these techniques disappeared many years ago. So I get like my own initiative to start to do it my own way. So it was not like somebody that I could learn from. It's kind of the tattoo.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, and if I think back too, not that I was doing any ancient tattooing, but even just doing the dot work and geometry and having any intentionality, you go back, yeah, not even 20 years, you go back 10 years, there was no one really doing it. But now, have you noticed that there's more, like where you are in the world and the places you've been traveling, have you noticed that there's more people doing it, more artists?
I think that there is every year, every day, more artists. That it's also because today it's very easy. I say that it's like everything on the golden plate. When we
Mm,
start, we need to with our needles, we need to have much more knowledge to start the tattooing. And today the material have so much evolved, like the machines, the needles, everything. So starting today, it's much, much easier than starting 20 years. It's like a completely different era of the tattooing. Of course, many people are starting because it's also much more easy to start. And you skip a lot of part of the tattooing that we were like, we need to do it. We couldn't start the tattooing if we didn't know to solve the needles, if we didn't know how to put the machine together. So today they are inalambric, amazing machines that work smooth and constant. But electromagnetic machine, you calibrate it and maybe it's working, but it's not working good. And so it's like a lot of difference in between the 2 decades. Only 2 decades, it's like a huge giant leap of the evolution in this industry.
so funny. Hey, it's like it went from, like you were saying, I can just remember still now, I have nightmares trying to tune tattoo machines sometimes. The electromagnetic ones, just like, what's going on? Takes you so long to learn that side of things. And then these days, I call it the electric toothbrush. You know, you get the machine and you just put the cartridge in and it's just like brushing your teeth. It's that easy now, huh?
Yeah, and it's very easy. So this part, technical part, I think it's like very solved that we need to struggle with it. And also you say that take you a long time to learn, but you know what? I think that it's impossible to tune the machine like 95%, 90%. and because it's electromagnetic. Electric, okay, it's working or it's not working, but magnetic can work like 15%. So the magnetic always will go something like that will not be perfect. You know what? So this also affects your work. That was also why I get inspired to tattoo by hand, because the machines even make me cry. I
Yeah.
was like, I did my coat, I did my springs, I did everything. I put the machine together and it was not working. And I was working for whole week on all the parts. And then I need to with the person that fixed the radius. And what was the problem?
What?
That in the wires that I put together, you need to put away the varnish so they have the contact. But I didn't know that there is some transparent varnish of this thing. There is a lot of the technical things that I was thinking, you know what? I'm not mechanic. I want to be tattoo artist, not the mechanic. So today the person have this opportunity to be just the artist. But I think anyway, it's important to know a little bit of the history of the tattoo. And what I see with the new generation, that they have no idea. It's like most of them, they don't have idea of the history. And when you like something, I think it's very important to go to the roots. Because if you don't know roots of the thing, then what are the reasons that you are doing this sacred work? Because it is sacred.
Yes, it is sacred, totally. And I could go on about that for a while. I probably will, but I'm going to give you the opportunity to speak first. So what do you think? Why do you think there's so many people tattooing now? Like, obviously it's easier, but if these people aren't digging into the history, if they're not aware of what that term actually means, what a sacred practice is and why you do something sacred, why do you think they're doing it? Why do you think there's so many people tattooing and picking up the toothbrush?
I think, and I see that many times it's like the easy way of the getting money.
Uh-huh.
It's sad, but it's because the people say, okay, I can copy. You don't even need to draw, because today the internet provides you with so many images. You can print it with all the lines and everything. If you are good in the copying, you buy the good material that you can get today. You have a lot of different options. So many people say, I prefer to tattoo, and they see it like easy way of earning the money. So this
Yeah.
is what I see in the many people. It's sad to say. I don't say that all the people, but because it's so easy, and the tattoo, it has some value. Mm.
No, good point. Good point. Okay, that's interesting because one of the notes I wrote down from our last interview was that you said for you, tattooing is not commercial. Yeah, like when you do your tattoo, okay, like intentional sacred practice, it's not about the commercial thing. You couldn't work in a studio anymore. And
Yes.
so talk to me about that. I was laughing so much because I didn't catch it last time we spoke, but you were trying to explain it and you said, I don't have the words, but it's like prostitution of the knowledge of tattooing. That was the language you used. And I caught it when I re-listened and I was like, Sanya is so right. She's so wise. Because it really is. It's about results and money. That's all it is for people. So maybe talk a little bit about for yourself to share that, because I think there'll probably be people that catch this that are young tattooers and they might not even be aware of the fact that the commercial side is what's driving them, or maybe the commercial side is driving them, but if they hear someone speaking from a place where tattooing isn't a commercial endeavor, that's not why you were motivated. It's a sacred thing. So maybe talk about that part of it. What makes tattooing sacred for you and your practice, and why don't you let the money influence your practice?
For the first thing, the human body for me is the temple of. So the skin is the sacred canvas. It's one of the most sacred canvas because it's alive. We are alive. We are breathing. And if this is our temple and we are putting something that it's for all our life, we are just here for a little time, but we need to focus in our intention and in our body. This is the will that takes us in this earth. So what we are putting on our body, and I always ask the people, because they say, I don't know. Some people, they say, I don't know the intention. So meditate where you are at this point in this life, in this moment, in this life. So what you want to improve, what you want to strengthen. Many people like do the tattoos because of the commercial reasons, because it looks cool, because it's a fashion. So we are like billions of people in this earth. We don't all think this, and I cannot judge the people that they think different, but we attract the same with the same people. So the, there will be certain type of the people that search for you and that come for you. They need to have some awakening moment, and they need to be more conscious in this life to go to you and to travel 5 hours and to meet you and really have something meaningful for them. It's the same with me. For me, like just to go somewhere and to put something that's cool. And even if for the person say, for me means this, and they put the name of something. So it's also from the tattoo artist to guide the person.
Yeah.
Like many times, I don't do this. And the persons, even some adults say to me, so who are you to say the people that they cannot choose what they want? Yeah, but who is studying this for 20 years? Wish when I get my first tattoo that the person would helping me and orientate me like with the things that I orient. Let's work with the body anatomy. Let's have the intention. Don't put the images. Let's work with the geometry. And sometimes or many times the people are married with the ideas. They have some idea in the this no, because this is very important for me. But it's not just this, what is it's more than an image or whatever you put in the body, it's the intention. Because if we go to the ancient times, simple line can mean a lot.
Yeah.
Simple dot can mean a
Yeah.
lot. So it is more what is working in the what prayers you are putting in the process of the offering, because all the offering don't start when you put the needle into the pin. The ceremony start already when you when you start to speak about the process. I think it's when you do it the commercial way, it's very difficult, and many times lose this sacredness and this sacred part, especially if it's not channeled that way.
You just mentioned so many things, so many different things that I've been thinking about and talking to people about. Honestly, it's so nice to hear it from you. You're definitely like a related, like a sister. Because I hear you talk and I'm like,
Oh yeah.
you sound exactly the same as me. I've been telling lots of people not just why do you want it, but why do you think that's why you want it? The why after the why. And because a lot of the time when you think something's cool, it's a curse. Cool's a curse. I want this because it's cool. And you're just putting something into the intention's the opposite to something that's going to be good for you. You're carrying something that ultimately it might lead you to understand something that's not real about yourself. And that's, I think, what's happening a lot of time in the commercial spaces. You're right. It's
And also the connection in between the placement and the intention. Many times, for example, people say, I want more balance in my life. I want tattoo here.
yeah,
So how you will do that? You know what
instead
I
of the
mean?
middle.
So,
Exactly. Yeah.
so we are both, or you are putting something in the center. So I also I put attention on many different details, not only like to work with the body anatomy, also this energetic way, because it is somehow that reminds you of the rest of your life to this intention. So how you will regret one tattoo that you put one intention that reminds you to something positive in this life? It is not possible, especially if it's good, if you makes you more beautiful, if it covers some scar, and on the top of everything, it's reminding you, keep strong, keep aware, keep being here. It is
Totally.
like,
Totally. Hey, actually, and one of the other things you said just before that I want to go back to and ask you a little bit more about is that you said sometimes you say to someone like, no, you shouldn't get that tattooed, or I don't think it's a good idea. And I've been getting a little bit of that as well, because like you call it, you're scanning people and you're listening to what they say, you're listening to how they respond, you're listening to what they look at. And there's also like you're feeling whether it's, for me anyway, I'm feeling whether it's actually them that wants the tattoo or if there's some other thing, there's some other idea, or there's some other, people would say their ego or whatever it is that wants to get tattooed. And I'm the same. And I've started to think about it in terms of entities. And every culture speaks about this. Every religion speaks about this. Everybody knows it's like there's us and there's spirits, right? And some spirits are good and some spirits are bad. Some are cheeky. Some want to help us. Some don't. And literally, not to go over everything that's happened in the past 5 years since we've spoken to each other, but one of the places that I was living was in a town, and there were so many cheeky entities trying to give people tattoos in the studio, and I had to say no a lot of the time. So do you experience anything like that? Is it just that they're not making an informed choice that you say no, or is it because sometimes there's things that you don't want to tattoo because it's not the person?
This is a good point that you mentioned. You say that you feel that they are not their essence. And
Yeah.
this is also one part of our work, to channel, to be sensitive to the things, to perceive the other person in their essence. Because when the persons are getting this kind of the work, they open. So many times when I have interview with the person, I'm very like put attention how the person speaks. I maybe, and they start to touch the place. They don't know what the tattoo, and they start to look. So sometimes the body knows. The body knows more than the mind, because the mind shouldn't be the boss. The boss should the heart, and we should learn to listen the body again. So many times the people don't know, but the body knows where they need it. But the question was another. You say that why I say no. Many times it's like the things that are like out of the balance, they are not in the synchronicity or in the congruency with the intention.
Yeah.
Many times are not, I have many rules, and many times it's just that I feel that the person maybe wants something that it thin that see on the other person to be
Yeah.
cool,
Yeah.
or and that it's influenced by something that you say that it's not your essence. Mm, It's also not an easy job, because what we are doing, I think it's very few tattoo artists in the world. There are thousands or millions of tattoo artists, but there are very few tattoo artists that are really working the way we are working, because we are working more from the energetic. We are
Yeah.
not just working the body. We are really getting into the subtle, tangible ways, and then translate it to the skin.
Yeah.
So I hope
Totally.
I answer your question. And of course, if I feel I don't want to do the stamps on the body, I've been tattooing 20 years. I will not spend my time with something that I will feel bad.
Yeah.
No.
Totally. Totally. One of the things I've been saying to people from a good place with lots of love is I don't want to tattoo you. I say, I'm happy to tattoo you. Great. I'm happy to tattoo you, but I don't want to tattoo. I'm not going to convince you, and you can't convince me to tattoo something unless it's what's meant to be there. That's it. Unless it's your
and you didn't
essence.
have And you didn't have experiences that the people want to offer you even 3 times more than what you want to charge?
I haven't had that, but I have
Mm.
had a lot of, okay, so talking about, okay, we want to see the person's essence. Okay. I agree. But I also see sometimes the thing that's not their essence and they think that's them, and that thing gets angry. So the essence is there and the essence
Mhm.
is, oh, I can hear you. Okay. And then the thing goes, I can hear you too. And I don't like what you're saying. And then I say to that thing, get out of here. And then I talk to them again. I go, but I do want to tattoo you. I just don't want to tattoo him. And it's in the one person. And so they're having this experience that can be a little bit confusing for them. But like you said, there's not a lot of people doing that because I don't think there's as much awareness around it. Even the artists, that's too much in their mind and they're focusing on, like you said, just as much as the person getting the tattoo, I want to look cool. I think a lot of the artists want to look cool. So they're like, I want to do this tattoo on you so that I can take a photo and put it on my Instagram. And then I feel cool. So I think both the tattoo artist and the person getting tattooed are a bit too married to their ideas of being cool or what they want to tattoo. What do you think? What else can we share then? You said you have a lot of rules. I'm starting to get a lot of rules too. We sound like we're getting old, like old rule grumpy tattooers. But it's not true. What other rules do you think we could share with people? Maybe people getting tattooed to help them get a tattoo that's aligned with their essence. What's a good rule?
The first rule is you already have it there, tattoos with the intention. I think this is the base first one to start some work. That the person that is getting the tattoo have clear why it's getting this offering and understand that this is rites of the passage to their temple. And also it shows how much you appreciate this temple. Then for me, another one is like you say that it's in congruency with the essence with the person, like that it really feels that it's right for the person. And then another one, it's also that it's very important for me. It's that it's in congruence with the energetic placement with the intention. Like I put before the stems, that if you want the balance and then you want to touch just one arm, it's a little bit incongruent with the balance
Yeah.
way of the intention. And then another one that it's also very important for me is to work with the body anatomy, because you can make this body more beautiful. I know that it's now more with the aesthetic way that we are speaking, but why not? Why we wouldn't do it more beautiful instead of, because if you are putting like straight lines where there are the bones, you will make person look more fat, more less attractive. So what you want to do is to make the person more beautiful. So this is also one of my another rules that I
Another
have.
rule.
So maybe another rule.
Okay. On that rule, because that rule works into one of my rules. So we're comparing rules here. One of my rules is that it's not art. And what I mean by that is it's not about me doing an artwork like I'm an artist painting a picture, right? But it does need to be beautiful. It needs to have symmetry and balance and fit the body. So it needs to be a good tattoo that looks beautiful on them. But it's not about being an artist, is it? We're doing something more than that. One of the things you said last time when you were talking about the result of your tattoo, it's not like you finish and you go, oh, I'm happy there's a beautiful artwork at the end. It's the spiritual result. When you see that there's a good spiritual result. And I've also noticed that if you do the tattoo well, it's the person is on a path that's better for them, a better path after the tattoo. Like the tattoo leads them on in a direction that's good for them. Do you experience that with people?
Yes, I have. I think we were speaking in the last interview that I was saying about the therapeutic tattoo. This is how I open like my eyes to this perspective. When this person came with completely destroyed back, and then the tattoo changed him like physical aspect of his temple, then affect mental and also affect spiritual, because everything is connected in the chain. But then even the people like that don't have these physical scars or something, I have many times clients, I will just give like one sample, the person that give the massage, and I did a huge tattoo on her, not even on the hands, like here on the chest. And then the person say, you know what? I felt like more empowered. I have the same client for many years, and she came and I give her the massage, and she said that she never felt so good massage that I give her before. So there are some effect energetic, definitely, in when we mark our body, because it is somehow some empowerment. Because even in ancient times, you need to earn the tattoo, or you need to come from girl to a woman, or it wasn't some rites of the passage. So it was a mark of something very important. And even if today there is not this knowledge anymore, it's inside of the unconscious of the humanity, because it's maybe the people don't remember, but we still have somehow we are connected to these ancestors. And when we are aware of the roots and of this knowledge, this makes it even more powerful. And yes, I have many experiences, people saying that they feel more empowered, that they even change they feel more self-confident, or they even have like less pain, or different kind of the experience, but it has some kind of the effect in the mental and spiritual way, definitely yes.
Yeah. And have you seen or do you notice anywhere where you are, or even just on looking on the computer screen, do you ever see the tattoos having the opposite effect on people, where it's moving them in a path that's not good? Let's say you do tattoos on someone and it's not their essence. What impact do you think that would have for them?
I think this happened with many people, that they regret their tattoo, or they do just the tattoos, like they come, let's do, or they were drunk and they do some tattoos, or they pick up the tattoo from the magazine, and then they realize that it's that spoke with the people that I did the cover of the tattoos,
Uh-huh.
that they say that they like felt some heaviness on the body or imbalance. So definitely it's the both sides. The same that can be this side can be also another side. Also, when the people put the
Hmm.
things that are like the devils and stuff like this, I think it has some energetical way to attract the energy that it's not the best for the essence of the person, because in a way they are powerful symbols, signs, for sure, maybe make you more obstacle, or leads you to not right path. Somebody would say that these are superstitions or something like that, but I think it can be very true also, because it is in our body. If the ancestors of all the cultures were working with the symbols, then also it have some effect. If wouldn't have no effect, then they wouldn't exist.
I just made a quiz, like a quiz, answer the questions that I'm going to put online. And it's like a joke quiz, but a little bit serious. And it's called "Are You a Demon in Disguise?" And you go through and it says, have you been tattooed when you're drunk? Yes or no? Do you have any of these symbols, like a devil or a this, blah, blah, blah? You click them and you go through and it gives you an indicator. And it's because I've seen it as well, doing cover-ups especially, or doing cover-ups, seeing what people have got tattooed on them and where they were in their life. Usually they're on a path I call it degenerative, a path that's corrupting them, or they're doing things that just aren't good for their spirit. And a lot of people will say it. They're like, I'm not that person, or there was something that was making me act like that, or something that was influencing me like that. And they want the tattoos gone. So I see it a lot, but I also see it because everyone's putting tattoos all over the screen these days. You can track it. So someone can get a tattoo of, you said it, like a devil. And this is one of the reasons why I asked you, is because you see them get a devil tattoo here. And then 6 months later, there's another tattoo here and here. And then all of a sudden, you can see this influence on them, which obviously is not them and obviously isn't good. And I sit there and I think about just how much that tattoo is affecting the person. And it fills me with responsibility of, obviously, I want to take notice because I don't want to lead people down that path. Not that I would, but I become even more aware of it because it's happening these days. And actually, on that, another thing, I don't know but I looked up we say we do sacred tattooing, and I looked it up. And so sacred, it can be good or bad as well. So I noticed this thing and I'm just like, So I think that as much as we can be doing tattoos that are sacred and aligned with someone's essence, so that empowers them in a good way, I'm like, surely there could be like people that are getting tattooed and it's not in a good way, but they also understand tattooing as an instrument and it empowers them in a bad way. Both
Definitely, yes.
sides. Yeah, both sides. So the other thing that I wanted to talk to you a little bit more about is also just the speed of your life and your practice and how different that is for a lot of people these days. We talked about how quickly you can learn to tattoo now, but also how quickly people act on getting tattoos. They walk in, they go, I want a tattoo, and they decide which tattoo to get, and then they get tattooed at the same day. And last time you mentioned that you usually will meet someone and work out what to tattoo, and then it's like, then you got to go home and go to sleep before you tattoo the next day. So maybe talk a little bit about that too, why that's important, taking it slow, not rushing.
That's again, before in many cultures, you need to earn it. Today, you just pay the money and you can get it. So, like you say, the people are getting tattoo here, but not even this. You can get the full body sleeve in a couple of days, in 3, 4 days. So, imagine to cover all the body. I've been tattooing for 20 years and I still have a lot to go because it's a timing. It's a perfect timing when you, and it's not just because I want it, I want all my body, but I have patience to wait. It's not so. Today, people many times also are doing the tattoos because they want very fast, and it's even some kind of the competition of the. I still see it in the way to have a patience and to be calm in this, to really, because then it will have much more impact and it will have much stronger the intention to anchor in this spirit in the tangible way than if you are just getting things fast and even if you think that you have the intention, because it's difficult to say, but we need to deserve it also. It's not just to pay the money. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But of course, if the people are taking it from commercial way, why they will bother with this? You are paying me, I tattoo your whole body. I'm happy because I will have another work that it's full body or whatever, full sleeve or so. I have many times experiences that the people like want too much, let's say whole back or in 2 days. It's not that I cannot do it because with this material today, I can do it because I can use the machine and make the work much faster than I couldn't do 20 years ago. But I can also see when I start to do, because it's how the person reacts, how taking. And then I also orient it because if I see that it's not possible, I speak with the person. Look, it will be for the next encounter. It's not in this timing because things are not flowing that way. And I feel that need time to build it up. So I think it's very important to not push the things because when we are pushing, then we are also losing the magic.
I totally agree. If someone wants too much work or they've got too much force behind getting it done, for me, it makes me close down and I do less. And I don't know, not because I don't want to do it, but I'm just like, oh, it's not going to happen. Or if they say to me, I came all the way here, I need to get it finished. And then their body will just it becomes so painful, their body makes them stop. And I'm like, okay. So it's a really interesting thing. Like you said, sometimes their body knows where the tattoo is meant to go or what the tattoo is meant to be, not their mind. It's the same with how much they get. Sometimes they go, I want my whole
That
sleeve.
is that,
And the body goes, nah.
and we again come to the basic. It's important to listen the body. We forget to listen the body. So, like you say, the body is telling, and when the body is telling something, we need to listen. And it will be. They say there is more time, more. It's mastis in Mexico. It's more time than the life. So we need to have the patience and to take the things like with understanding. So push up, it will never have good results.
Yeah, yeah. And on that, a couple of things I've experienced. So I tell everyone now, you've got one tattoo on your body and it's meant to take a lifetime. That's like you said yourself, 20 years tattooing, you still got space. Me too. And we're not rushing it. But then I also experienced earlier in my career when I was, like you were saying, I was in that place of, yeah, I'll do a full back piece because that means I get to do a cool back piece and maybe I'll get more work and people will think I'm a good artist. And so I had maybe 2 or 3 people. I did a lot of work real quickly, like the bodysuit's nearly finished. And then you don't see them again for a long time. And it's not finished yet, but you don't see them for a long time. And then when I do talk to them, I'm like, it's almost like their spirit is trying to catch up with the work that's happened in the tattoo. It was too much tattooing, and it's like their spirit is just trying to get to where they've tattooed their progression. Whereas someone, when you tattoo slowly, I might see them every year for 10 years, and it's very organic progression, and they're not struggling with it. Whereas the other people, it's like the life's drowning them because they have all these lessons to learn really quickly.
I completely agree with. But of course, so like you say, I don't know, I don't find the word now, but ambition of the many tattoo artists, especially today, there is so much good tattoo artists all over the world. And there is so many tools that we didn't have before, like speaking about the internet, about all tutorials, about all the images, about all these programs that you can make mandala in few seconds and it repeat it. Or I saw even that there's the program that they calculate to like perfect fit. I don't know. I'm so technological, but there is like so much things today that can make work much more easier and nicer than when we back times that this didn't exist. So this also make it much, especially for the new generation, that they are more technological, and then it's easy for them to pick up the program and do something. I even heard from my friend that there is the courses of the artificial intelligence for the tattooing.
What do you mean? Courses for artificial intelligence tattooing?
Yes. No, you go to a workshop when they teach you artificial intelligence for the tattooing.
Oh my goodness.
So it helps you understand. The artificial intelligence will take the work of the design.
Oh no.
Yeah, they're already going on.
Wow. Yeah, see, this is, who knows, Sanya? Maybe tattooing won't keep going the way that we're doing it. Maybe it will finish up. I don't know. We'll see.
We never know.
We'll never
But
know.
we are keeping I think the most important is that we are honoring it the way like they honor it our ancestors. And we are doing it the most, how you say, congruent way
Yeah.
with our way of thinking and living. It's for me, walk your talk.
Yeah.
I can be talking and talk. So if we are not doing it the way like we are doing it, for me, I would feel it like I'm prostituting all the knowledge that I've been given.
That's right.
So it, at least for me, it's important. Even, of course, I also would like to do whole bodies and everything. Because who wouldn't like to have the art in the biggest expression? It's really nice to see. But you cannot break the rules that you build up with so many years and with so much struggle and with so much study just for something that you are craving and that you want to see and do.
Yeah.
We also need to have patience part.
It'd be lovely to see a full expression of your tattooing on someone's body, but you don't want to do it unless it's right, unless they've earned it. And that's actually more satisfying to see someone get there with the right timing for the right reasons. I say to a lot of people that I'm doing big work on and they want it finished, and I'm like, relax. It doesn't matter if we don't see each other for a long time and you get it later. And I said, can you imagine with all of your intention, yeah, all of the things that you're putting in, talking about being the best version of yourself, the most connected to the creator, all of the work that it's going to take for you to actually be that. I was like, do you think you can be that person next year? How long is it going to
And
take
in
you
the
to be that
way,
person?
doing it that way, I believe we are the healers because we give this imprint in the touch of the human sacredness and the body with our work. And to keep in these times, in these challenging times, still in our path without distracting and also denying using some work, it's it is a huge thing. It's not just the normal tattooing.
Yeah, there's a big responsibility there if you choose to accept it. I think that's the thing. There's a lot of artists and a lot of people getting tattooed. I think the responsibility of the layers that we're talking about it's too challenging. It's not comfortable necessarily. And like you said last time, it's not that ours is no one's less or more than anyone else in how you do it. For some people, it'll just be art, and that's fine too. Everyone's different. We need the diversity there. But I think what we're speaking about is, yeah, that layer of awareness and responsibility. It it means it's not instantly satisfying all the time, and it requires a lot of work and energy to meet it, for sure. And we're using your words from last time, respecting the original memory of tattooing. We don't know what's going to happen with all of the AI and the this and the that and the different advancements in tattooing, but so long as there's a trickle of respecting that original memory, that's important, huh?
I think it's always important to remember the roots and respect the roots because without the roots, we cannot grow. The branches are growing only when the roots are growing. And if we just want to build the same that the house with the good or say the foundation, if you build a huge house with the first wind, it will go down. So I see the humanity in this point that it's growing up, but it's forgetting on the foundations and on the roots. And of course, everything it's expanded. It's like a spiral expanding, but it's very important also to honor and to take in account the roots.
For sure. So the last thing I want to ask you, Sanya, before I stop the recording, anyway, 'cause I'll talk to you some more after. But you've done a bit of traveling in the past 5 years to some different conventions. You're always going to different conventions and gatherings of tattooers. And in the past,
Honestly, in
yeah, have you been to any since last time we spoke?
for sure, since last time we spoke, I've been, but then I also get like mixed feelings about
Okay.
especially because the many conventions are oriented in very commercial way.
Okay.
So it is difficult sometimes to find this bubble of the space. I don't say all the conventions. Like there have been some tribal conventions, like in Poland, my friend did a tribal tattoo convention that was really amazing. Just the artists that are in more or less the same way of the thinking, but there are like some big conventions that it's hardcore music and like the pinup girls and all this. So this I've been years even before the pandemic. I stopped to go because for me it was a bit overwhelming. The thing why I was going to the convention also to share with the people this other way because I think it's important that also the people get to know and this is good way that you are planting the seeds in the fertile hearts because there's coming all type of the people. But for me, it was a little bit heavy to go to this kind of the convention. So honestly, like I didn't been to the convention maybe like 4 or 5 years, something like that.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I agree with you. It's a bit heavy, those spaces. I can't even tattoo in a space with one other artist anymore. I can, but I feel it. I got one guy that's learning from me at the moment, or did some training with me, Daniel, and God bless him. I love the guy. But even just having him, one person, probably because he's watching so closely, I can just feel it affecting everything when I'm trying to work with someone. So it's not that I can't, but I couldn't imagine being in a big space like that anymore. But at the same time, the reason I was asking you is I'm curious on your perspective of what could be beneficial for the tattoo community moving forward in terms of, like you said, planting the seed in the fertile ground. It's like for this way of working and the things we're talking about and the things we do with people, what do you think would be beneficial? Like gatherings of artists, or just artists sharing more online, or I don't know, how do you see it growing?
I think the gatherings would be definitely very fulfilling because when you get together with the same similar people, the thinking people than you, it's good for your spirit and it's inspiring. It's
Mm.
the energy multi together. When the group of the people in the few gatherings that I participate in Indonesia, in Ireland, Poland, in Spain, that was that kind of the gatherings. It was something like it felt like the tribe comes together, make really strong and powerful. So definitely, I think it's something very inspiring, very nurturing, something that sometimes we think it's really heavy. All this work that we are doing. I don't know if you've been in some point that you have pain in the back. It's like very heavy for your body. We are not 20 anymore. So it is like you think, oh, I can do anything I want. I love that. But still, you come to some point, and then when you are in this kind of the meeting, it boosts you. And also always speaking with the people, you get some other idea. I think today it's very common to be online, but
Yeah.
not the same than together with the people and feel to be in the same space and do the fire in the night and make some singing and celebrate it together. Not just come for the tattooing, but really join and meet and share the stories like our ancestors did around the fire. So I think something like that is very nurturing and
Yeah.
very inspiring. Also, it feels some person with the energy.
Yeah. The collective energy boosts everybody. Yeah. It's been so long
Mhm.
since I've experienced that over here. Australia is so far away. Yeah. In saying that, I'm going over to New Zealand in a couple of months to get some more work done on my legs. So I think I'll get a little bit of a boost then dropping in, which will be good. And still, I want to get back over to Mexico and South America and America, but timing. Just got to wait for the right timing on these things, don't we?
Yes.
Sanya, thank you. Is it still just your Instagram that I should tell people to contact you on for work, or do you have a website going?
Yeah. My website it's in progress.
Okay.
Still.
Still, it's been 5 years, Sanya. It's so good. You don't need a website.
I tell you, it's like I'm not very technological person.
Yeah.
I every time the person say I do the page for you, and all it's been I don't know how many times, and every time it's a failed
Yeah. Doesn't happen.
mission. So at the
Okay.
moment, I still have.
Okay. So I'll send people to your Instagram, which is just Sanya Youali, the same one, and they can message you on there if they want to get some work or chat to you about something.
Thank you.
How good was that? I really enjoyed connecting with Sanya. If you want to connect with her and see her work or have a chat with her, she's, doesn't have the best internet, as you can tell, but she does get on there. She's very friendly, so you can head over to her Instagram. That's in the show notes below. Again, the Facebook page, the Tattoos with Intention podcast Facebook group. Join there if you want to have a chat to myself or some other people in the community there. It's a great space. And I look forward to chatting to you all in the next episode. All right. Bye.